What's going on, everyone? Greatest Hits here. Today we have another performance part that we're going to be installing in Rocket Bird. The engine is almost done being built. Essentially, we can pretty much put the motor into Rocket Bird along with the K member from BMR that I'm going to be getting for the car. Once that is in there, I can go ahead and start disassembling this Turbo 400 transmission. As most of you know already, the Turbo 400 transmission is legendary. It is, huge in the car racing world and amongst the enthusiasts because the Turbo 400 can withstand pretty much anything upwards to 5,000 horsepower. Now, we're not making 5,000 horsepower, but we can definitely make somewhere in the 700 to 1,000 horsepower range based on my wallet and my budget. So yeah, this is going to be my first attempt to disassemble this. I have disassembled most of it already prior and then put it all back together. That way I'm a little bit more familiar with what I'm doing. I'm also learning a lot more about this transmission specifically. That way I know what I'm doing when I take everything out. I'm gonna place it all on here on this roll around service cart here. And we're just gonna leave all the parts here, and once all of the aftermarket parts get here for this transmission, I'm going to place it in here, and I'm gonna do my best to explain what some of these parts do on this transmission. If I can't explain it well, I probably just won't say what it is or what it's, what it does, because I'm still new at learning how to, because transmissions are kind of confusing, especially for me, because, of course you have a converter and all this other kind of stuff, clutches, but you also have clamps and pumps and drums and input-output shafts and intermediate shafts and valve bodies and servos and vacuum modulators and stuff like that. Don't tell me how all that works, because I don't. But we're just gonna take this thing apart the best way we can, and that's pretty much gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna show you guys what this whole transmission looks like all the way around, and once we get it bare metal with no parts in it, we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna get rid of all this black paint here, and we're probably gonna go with blue to match the engine and to match Rocket Bird. So here we go. I'm gonna tilt this transmission upside down so I can get the valve body and everything off, and then we can go from there. There we go. I got the pan down here, that way we don't drip any more fluid, even though some of it's probably gonna be on the floor anyway. All right, so all of these bolts are 13 millimeters. I forgot to mention that this transmission is actually capable of being installed now and driving and everything, because I think this transmission has been rebuilt several years ago. I don't know how many years ago, but several years ago. The reason why I say that is because, one, the owner of this transmission, he told me that he's had this in one of his trucks or something like that. Two, when I pulled it apart the first time, the fluid looked phenomenal. The pump in this thing looks phenomenal, very minimal amount of wear, and everything just looked good. So that was a plus. Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna take this thing apart, like I said, and I'm gonna try to explain what certain things do in this transmission. But other than that, I'm just gonna be taking stuff apart, and that's it. So, because I don't know enough about this to save my life. So. Okay. I cleaned up this oil pan on the outside a little bit because I'm going to be reusing it. From what I've read, you don't necessarily need to get an aftermarket pan for this unless if you're really making some power. This is the deep pan, and this pan is lighter than some of the aftermarket aluminum pans that's out there, so it's not really necessary to replace this with something deeper or something better or whatever. Yeah, let's set this to the side. This is a 13 millimeter bolt. This is the oil filter here. See how it kind of moves, but it doesn't want to come off. That's because the bolt's on there. Just take that out. And I would place everything exactly the way that it's been taken out. That way you know where everything is at. Take the valve body off. We're gonna go with a trans brake valve body, forward pattern shift. I think that's what they call it. I don't want this transmission to be full manual. I want it to shift on its own, but with some manual capabilities. So if you know more about transmissions than I do, just comment down below and give me some tips and tricks on this thing. So one of the other reasons why I'm doing this myself is because it's gonna be too expensive for somebody else to do it for me. So this is what I'm doing. Those are also 13 millimeter bolts, and then you have just three 10 millimeter bolts, 10 or 11, I think. Let's see. 11 millimeter bolts. Kind of odd, but Now, there's not really a particular way you should take everything off of this transmission, but if you just take the valve body off and some of all of this other stuff off, you can take the vacuum modulator out, which is right here. We're gonna upgrade this too. I think this comes with the kit that I am going to get. And then this servo back here that you can't really see right now, but that's where my finger is at. So take all this out. And then you just pop these lines out. Now you don't need to put these lines back in because I'm gonna have a trans brake valve body here, and it's not necessary to have these lines here anymore, so you can just plug these holes off down here. I think once we take this off, go ahead and take the vacuum modulator out. It's just one bolt holding it with the bracket here. Just pull this thing out like that, and it has a seal behind it, like an O-ring seal, and then it just pretty much goes on like that. So, and then it has like a little, I I don't even know what you call this in here, but some kind of valve or something. Servo, I believe this is the servo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is what it is. And this only goes on one way. So this is what that is. The servo here, the servo gear just goes in one way. So. All right, now that these two things are out, go ahead and take this spring off. Not sure what this is, but it helps the transmission shift apparently. So you have a bunch of check balls in here. I already took some of them out. When you're modifying this transmission, you're supposed to have at least 2 or 3 check balls still in the transmission. So I advise before you take anything off, just take a bunch of pictures on your phone or something like that. And as you're slowly taking parts off, just continue to take photos. That way you know where everything is at before. That's just how I do it personally. But we're going to go ahead and take all the check balls out because why would we keep them in there? And 2, some of them are going to fall out anyway when I move this thing over. So trying to look for the other one. There's supposed to be, I think there's a total of 5 or 6 check balls here, but I think that was it. Anyhow, I didn't know I took out that many, to be honest with you. Okay. Not sure what this thing is, but I guess I'll there you go. Simply just take this out like that. You got a little gasket here, and I just sit the bolts in here. Like I said, just keep everything where it was at. Got this here with a little spring. I think you can upgrade this spring here too. And what's really weird on, I think most transmissions, if you're modifying a transmission to race it and go fast, there's just some things that you can just take out, like the check balls, and leave out, or the lines that went across here from the valve body to the back of the transmission. Keep those out, and it apparently makes the your shifts faster or your transmission shift harder or whatever. So that's kind of weird, but that's just kind of how it works. So kind of cool, but kind of weird. Let's go ahead and take these bolts out of the tail shaft housing here. It needs to be taken out anyhow. And there goes the fluid. Right up in there, that hole where that bolt is. That bolt needs to come out before you take the pump and the drum and everything else out, because if you don't have this bolt out of this maze over here of a transmission, then you're not going to be able to get the clutches or anything out. So this is a 3/8 socket that I have right here with an extension, and that's the type of socket that you need to take off this bolt. Make sure it's in there flush, and try not to beat on this, because if you do, you're going to gouge and tear up this this little hole here, and that has to be flat. If it's not flat, you're going to have problems with the transmission. So you're gonna have to flatten that back out if you mess it up. So make sure it's in there flush and that your socket fits. So yeah, seems like it's in there to me. There you go. There's the bolt there. This is very important, so you're gonna have to put this in a special spot. Now that that is off, we need to go around on this other side and take off another, it's probably a speedometer sensor maybe. Like I said, I don't know. I'm just going to put up captions on this video to tell you what it is. $10mm bolt. And that vacuum modulator on the other side, that was, I believe, a 13mm bolt. And then the servo gear was 13mm bolts as well around the housing. So these pump bolts are 14mm. And as you guys can see already, the condition on this transmission is really, really good. So we don't have to replace a pump, or I don't think a drum either. I haven't took the drum out yet. I just took the pump out just to check it before. So you can get a pry bar, this small little pry bar, or a flat tip screwdriver to pry this out. The best way to do that is pry it out right about here. If you can see that. I don't know if you can. Right up in there. You just pry it out enough so that you can take the pump out. Just very carefully and gently. See how it popped out? Just like that. Put the pan here, because it's already dripping transmission fluid, and just pretty much slides out. Here's the gasket here, and then these are all 13mm bolts as well. We're going to take that apart right now so I can show you what the gears look like. Now I'm going to sit this to the side right now, and I'm just going to start taking everything off first before I disassemble the rest of the parts. And you can just pull this out like that. This drum looks pretty good. Got this little washer in here. It kind of sits in here, and you got splines and stuff too. I mean, it doesn't look too terribly bad. A little bit of wear, but nothing too crazy. This stock transmission had a 3600 stall converter in it. So he was probably making a decent amount of power, but nothing too crazy for what I've been told by the owner. This comes out too. Not sure what this does, but there you go. And they have clutches. You have clutches in here as well. Now, got this little band here that needs to come out. Band looks pretty good too. little to nowhere. Well, it still has, okay. I think that's good. I don't know. Down in here. It's like a pad of some sort. Anyhow. A little tricky, but we're gonna get it. There we go. I don't think there's any particular side on this clamp here. And I believe this, I think this is an intermediate shaft here. Something's coming out. That's coming out. Oh, these are your clutches here. There you go. I think this is second or third gear clutch here. And then there's a particular way that this thing goes. And then it just sits on top like that. You got a little bit of wear here, I can tell. But everything on this transmission just about is going to be replaced except for the pump and maybe the drum, because we're trying to make anywhere from 700 to 1,000 to the rear wheels on the Firebird. But these clutches don't look half bad. I'm looking at them, so yeah, cool. Okay. The camera just died, so I had to charge the battery and start the video again. This one's kind of difficult over here. Another clamp here that's giving me hell. There we go. There we go. Now this one here needs to be on a particular way. This has a little hump in it. I don't know if you can see that. But back here is the flat part. I know you guys can see that. But if I flip it over, it has a slight hump in it, so it goes in with the flat end on the back. Now we can go ahead and pull this apart. Okay, that comes off. Not sure what this is either, but it does have clutches in it, I know that. And some kind of weird gear looking thing. It has a decent amount of wear, but it's nothing too concerning. Now, what else do we have? We have all of these and this. Some more gears and bands and whatever. this output shaft can come out. See, there you go. There it is. And then I think there's something else behind here. Yeah, this little metal plate thingy probably acts as a bushing or something. And then you have another little retaining ring. Goes back here. And then you got this band here. You probably got to pry this off because I don't think it comes out that easy. No, it does not. There we go. Let me get my light. I think that is about it, guys. This transmission looks like it's in really good shape, to be honest with you. I don't see anything out of the ordinary or cracks or a break anywhere, because if there was, you're gonna have to weld that thing up or get a new Turbo 400 case. And I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, I might be able to just keep all of this on here, I don't know, but everything is out of this transmission. It was pretty simple and straightforward and quite honestly stupid easy. So like anybody can do this, to be honest with you. So that's why I'm doing it, because it's easy, and a lot of the more experienced builders say that it's easy to build a transmission and to build a Turbo 400 and take it apart. So yeah. All right, we're gonna go ahead and look inside this pump here. I already know what it looks like. I just want to show you guys because you guys don't know what it looks like in here. Correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I don't know much about transmissions, but this thing is meant, oh, wrong size socket. Now hold this thing when you're going to take all the bolts off, because it's going to drop all the way down. There you go. As you can see, take these bolts out. Now you have some bolts that are longer than the others. This is the longest bolt that sits in here. This is the second longest, and then the rest of these, well, except for that one, is short. So these go way in the corner. These go, the longer ones go towards the top. So that's the only way I'm gonna know. So sit this up off of here. Sit this over here like that. As you can see, very little wear, because I know when it comes to metal and the wear patterns and everything, that if it looks blue or black, like has black spots or something like that, it was overheating or anything like that. This gear comes out like this, just carefully As you can see, it don't look bad at all. And then this is the other gear here. Take that out for you. You just pull up and out, but as you can see, just a tad bit of wear, but it's looks really good. So throw this back in here. And that's pretty much it, guys. That is pretty much it. And obviously this is a gasket here. You want to line this up perfectly. That way you don't have any issues when installing this back into the transmission. So there's just a lot of things here, as you can see. A lot of stuff here, and then some of the stuff is on the bottom of the tray here, but you're going to have to put this in a press to get the clutches out of here, and then this one here, and then I think one or two more down there. But you got a little bit of surface rust here, to be honest with you, around this drum, but nothing to be worried about. We can kind of polish that out. But yeah, looks pretty cool. I can't wait to get my parts in the next month or two. When they get here, I'm gonna do my best to explain everything and take everything apart, put the new stuff back on, and get it installed into the transmission. And I'm going to make this into different parts, so hopefully part 1 through part 5, and I should be done, because this is honestly nothing to it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If y'all like this one, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, Greatest Hits, and I'll holler at you all at the next one. Greatest Hits out.